What's up guys, Bullet here, and today we're going to be covering another patch notes video. This one's a doozy. V7.20 is pretty huge, so let's just jump right in. Before we get started though, I want to make sure you guys know this. The gameplay you're seeing in the background is a full match of Team Rumble. It was my first game on this morning, so please don't judge me too hard. I was missing a lot of shots, but I did get to do a couple of things, and I really did enjoy using the new 6-shooter, which is something that I use a lot in this. But as you can see, there is glider redeploy, and that's what we're going to talk about first. Glider redeploy is now an item. The description is, spread your wings, glider redeploy is back, but this time as an item. Find charges as loot throughout the map. Honestly, I think that's kind of cool. Only downside is it's for the person that jumps off of stuff a lot. I don't personally do that, so I'm probably not going to carry these in my item slot as much as some people. But it is a pretty cool addition. One thing I noticed is for Team Rumble, you used to be able to glider redeploy automatically, but now since they added this, you actually have to have them in your inventory to glider redeploy, which is pretty cool. So make sure you guys know that when playing Team Rumble and other limited time modes, you will have to have the glider redeploy item in your inventory in order to actually redeploy your glider. Moving on to the scoped revolver. No sniper, no problem. Use the new scoped revolver to hit precise shots against enemies. Honestly, I really do enjoy the scoped revolver. It is pretty dope. It drops in epic and legendary variants if those dogs don't shut up. It fires medium ammo and it does 42 to 44 damage per shot. And it does a huge, I think 86 headshot damage, which is pretty awesome. You can get it from floor loot, chests, supply drops, and vending machines. Going back to the glider real quickly, it is only in rare and it comes in 10 charges. And each deploy uses a charge. When all charges are used, they all disappear, and it does not consume a charge when using a launchpad, rift to go, or respawning in a limited time mode. You can find it in floor loot, chest, vending machines, and supply llamas. Real quickly, let's just go over some details in the one-shot mode. Gravity is set lower than normal. The storm wait time has been greatly reduced in all phases. The only weapons in this mode are hunting rifles and sniper rifles. Semi-auto snipers and bounce pads have been removed from the vault in this mode, and players will spawn with 50 health and only heal if they find bandages. Now, before we cover that, let me just say something about snipers in general. The following projectile-based weapons now have the same projectile trajectory as the heavy. Bolt, suppressed, semi, and hunting. All the snipers now have the same exact trajectory as the heavy. So now when you're sniping, make sure to, keep that in mind. Moving on, there are some adjustments to the minigun. They added an overheating mechanic, and overheat occurs after 6 seconds of continuous fire. They reduced the wind-up time by 37%, and they updated the audio for the minigun. Now, I didn't get a minigun to use, and I'm too lazy to go into creative mode. I'm sorry, so just, don't judge me too hard. I wanted to make this video as soon as possible to cover these patch notes. Balloons have been changed from epic to rare. Stink bombs have also been changed from epic to rare, and the scoped AR has been increased from rare and epic to uncommon and rare. So you're going to find green and blue scoped ARs now, as well as blue stink bombs and balloons. Weapon first shot accuracy now works with icy feet and while on zip lines. I think that's pretty dope. Thank you for adding that, epic. The reticle centered out on scoped rifles has been reduced in size. This will mitigate situations where it appears you're on the target but you still miss the shot. Thank you, Epic Games. Trap drop chance adjustments. Total drop chance of traps from floor loot increased from 3.98 to 4.73. I don't know if that's going to change gameplay in any way, but they did it. Cozy campfires drop chance has been increased from 0.26 to 0.73 on floor loot, and the drop chance for loot llamas increased from 6.63 to 15.47. That's the most drastic sounding one out of all of them, it seems. Launchpads for the floor loot has been increased from 0.53 to 0.98. Drop chance for loot llamas increased from 13.25 to 20.7. That is huge. So when I say from loot llamas for both of those items, that means that when you open up a loot llama, the item, the cozy campfire, the launchpad, are going to be increased chances from getting it from a loot llama. As for the mountain turret, same thing. Floor loot decreased from 0.8 to 0.73. and the jump chance for loot llamas decreased from 20.42 to 15.47, and that's for the mounted turret. I actually do enjoy that because I was tired of only picking up mounted turrets all the time. It was very annoying. Now, small shields max stack size has been decreased from 10 to 6. I don't think they should have done that. Personally, I usually carry minis more than bandages and medkits and stuff. So now only having a limit of 6 is going to be pretty game changing, and I'm going to find that very annoying probably. So we're going to move on to bug fixes for the Battle Royale. They fixed a bug that could cause you to lose the ability to switch weapons if firing a grappler while crashing a vehicle or interacting with an object during travel. They fixed a bug where your ability to fire would be delayed after discarding a grappler. Sorry guys, I'm stuttering so much. Remove the ability to ride or be pushed by a grappler due to the ability for players to move fast enough to cause network issues. Fixed balloons not being popped by explosions. Fixed issue causing odd dynamite size and scaling when picking it up and rethrowing. When a player is eliminated by down but not out bleed out damage, the elimination distance is calculated from the original down location rather than the distance they are fully eliminated. Fixed an issue that could cause scope rifles to have full accuracy earlier than intended. Fixed an issue where the center dot of the reticle while scoped did not line up with the center dot while unscoped. Fixed dynamite rethrow ability from being cancelled by changing weapons or being a vehicle passenger. And last but not least, players will no longer receive credit for a no scope in the elimination feed if they use a scope to eliminate a player. That's the one that I'm actually very happy for. As for gameplay improvements, Zipline has been improved. They added the ability to change direction via player movement input button. Just move in the direction you'd like to go while riding a zipline, no jumping required. Rather than moving at max speed as soon as entering the zipline, players will now accelerate over time to reach max speed, and destruction effects have been turned back on while riding a zipline, meaning players will destroy the nearby player buildings before attaching to the zipline so their path becomes clear. Added a third decimal place for mouse controller sensitivity to allow for more granular values. To help with situations where walls built mostly underground, we've added functionality where an extra piece will be built for free on top of that piece. This occurs the wall piece is showing less than 30% above ground, which is actually very helpful. Thank you, Epic. Gamepad sensitivity, building sensitivity change also applies to edit mode. Editing will no longer interrupt gunfire and pickaxe swings. Corn stalks will no longer block gunfire. Editing a structure will now begin without waiting for a response from the server. This should cut down on ghost shots before editing and make it a smoother experience. Confirming the edit will require sending data to the server and be impacted by high ping or poor server performance. Vehicle impact damage to a player will now respect shields instead of directly applying to their health. Thank God. When a player explodes due to any reason, it will now deal damage to both passengers and pilots. This damage no longer ignores shields. Infinite dab is now more infinite. Dab for 11 hours instead of 10 hours in the lobby. Adjusted map art to more accurately represent player and marked positions. Textures of props used in emotes are now pre-streamed, so scorecard and other emotes that use props will have less chance of using a low-resolution texture. And the X-Force Stormwing passengers now have the same hold to exit functionality as pilots. As for bug fixes, they fixed instances of glider redeploy not deploying when exiting a Stormwing. They fixed grenade throw animations not playing the follow through when watching other players throw a grenade. I don't know what that means. Fixed the preview length on any emotes in the lobby to hear the full music track. Thank God. Completing the play a match with a friend daily challenge now correctly counts towards other quests that require completing daily challenges. Fixed players not being able to destroy the boombox from certain distances. Fix some issues with the ziplines, and these are as follows. Players will no longer be flung across the map or get in broken animation states. A cooldown has been added to ensure jump spamming will not allow players with mild network connections to fall through the zipline collision. The zipline magnet will no longer remain over players' heads. Players will no longer fall when colliding with enemy structures, and players no longer dismount ziplines at steep angles when under bad network connections. They fixed an issue where players would sometimes take 2 instances of impact damage from getting hit by the Stormwing. Damage numbers when shooting mounted turrets now properly display as a vehicle damage instead of player damage. Players who are emoting on the starter island will no longer continue emoting after jumping from the battle bus, and gliders and umbrellas will no longer appear sideways or misaligned when jumping from the battle bus. As for events, tournament systems have been significantly updated to support upcoming features. We'll be operating a series of small-scale tests as we test these updates with more players. We will be testing in waves and are more confident in the new functionality at the point we will begin running tournaments regularly for all players. Older tournaments will be removed from Events tab on Switch and mobile devices for the time being. Data for those tournaments have been saved though and will return to platforms in future release. Players will automatically be removed from the match after 60 seconds of spectating after being eliminated. As for audio, they fixed shield damage sound by playing when shooting or getting hit by teammates. Players can now play their music in the lobby for previewing. Reduced the volume of the storm ring, reduced the volume of the boombox, and added unique bouncing sound to the dynamite. As for some bug fixes for those items, they fixed music cutting out on mobile and Switch platforms. They fixed incorrect boost audio loop for Quad Crasher on mobile and Switch. They fixed missing medium distance scoped AR gunshot sounds, and they fixed louder winter biome ambient sound audio on mobile and Switch. As for the UI, they updated the ammo icons in the inventory to be more realistic, and the building resources of spectated players are now visible. Now, there are some bug fixes for the UI, but there's a lot, and I don't want to really cover it. So let's just moving on to social. Battle Royale players can now accept party invites from players in the Save the World and join games in progress. Both Lynx and Zenith now have custom idol poses in the lobby, and they fixed the size of the Red Knight shield and Raven backbling from the Frozen bundle, and it now matches the original versions, which is very nice. They fixed the bug that was preventing the Dead Fire outfit from being reactive in-game, and they improved the quality of the golf clap emote on mobile and Switch. As for replay, they fixed a few replay loading issues that can cause a loading screen to appear when it's not necessary for it to be displayed. And for mobile, they fixed a bug causing users to aim down sights when exiting vehicles, fixed turbo building while holding extra build buttons, fixed an issue where the add friend button for other party members in the main menu was not able to be clicked on mobile devices. And they added HUD button. This HUD button shows when you enter the in-game settings, a separate section to turn off certain HUD aspects. Now, there was a lot of stuff for Battle Royale, and we're not done yet, guys. Let's move on to creative. So first off, they added a brand new island called Frosty Fortress. Go ahead and turn your creative vision to life on this all-new island. And they added a new theme for you guys to do with prefabs called Farmstead. It looks pretty cool, honestly. Now, they did fix some issues which caused island portals to not appear when those islands contained many copies of certain types of building tiles or props. They fixed an issue where players were able to either exit their island with phone tool by being inside prefab structures. They fixed an issue where players could take items out of an island to the creative hub, and they fixed an issue where traps would remain floating in the air after the supported wall was removed. They added a new last standing option to allow creators to specify whether they want the game to end when there's only one player or team remaining. They added new spawns option to allow players to specify how many times a player can spawn, which is very awesome. They added a new player flight option to allow flight during games or when the phone is unavailable. Added a new jump fatigue option for enabling and disabling jump height penalties that would normally get applied on rapid successive jumps. And they added a new gravity options which can be turned to very high and high. When traps are equipped from the creative inventory, the new trap will become selected on your quick bar. As for bug fixes, they fixed a bug where players were blocked from loading into creative with a network error. They fixed some vehicles causing damage to structures when the world was indestructible or when players did not have permission to edit. Fixed building animations becoming stuck when being removed with the phone mid-animation. Fixed an issue where player placed walls would show health bars more often than intended. Fixed an issue where tiles would appear red during games, and they fixed an issue where multiple camera fades would occur on game start and game end. We're not done yet, guys. Creative tools and the phone have also been updated. They added turbo building to creative, and they added turbo delete to creative, and they added a new effect when utilizing grid snap to help visual placement. Now, there are more bug fixes for the phone. I'm not going to read them. There's a lot. Moving on to prefabs, like I said, the Farmstead prefabs have been added. There's also Ice Cliff and Large Cube. As for devices, they added random spawn options on the item spawner, which allows you to put random items on. It's pretty cool. They renamed the gunner device to Sentry, and they added new options to the Sentry such as health, respawn accuracy, target style, adaptive aim, and attack range visualization. The new elimination zone device allows players to place adjustable zone when eliminated players if they come in contact with it during game. So it's basically just a device to help you, murder enemies in creative mode, just to be a dick. Now there are a lot of bugs for traps, not going to go over them, but for creative they added dual pistols again, and rare and epic variants, just like they did in multiplayer, sorry about that. And they added gliders and item that grants glider redeploy. As for teams, they fixed a bug not being able to build on opposing team structures while editing a creative island. However, this is still not allowed while game is still in progress. As for UI, they added a message to the HUD that displays how to start the match on an island when shared or featured island. And they fixed a couple of bugs for memory and inventory not displaying something. As for performance, they reduced the time it takes to load onto creative and to switch between islands, and they will further improve that with future updates. They improved performance for minigame spawners, and they improved performance for memory usage by calling more objects that are very far away from the player. Bug fixes such as fixed hitches when displaying tooltip text, and as for mobile, they fixed creative button visibility while in vehicles. Guys, only one more subject to go. As for Save the World, this is the last one. This is a huge update, guys. I'm covering it all for you guys. So let's just jump right into the Save the World notes. So what's new? Fortnite Challenge 3 New Wave Holiday. Where there's one, there's more. Each wave of enemies contains all the same types. Defeat enough of the same type of enemy to unlock new waves. Ice King and Ice Queen. Bow down. Purchase the Ice King from the event store and unlock Ice Queen by completing the Fortnite challenges. Honestly, the Frost Queen skin, it looks cool, but I hope they don't add it to Battle Royale. I think they should just keep it and Save the World. I personally don't like how they add like variants of Battle Pass skins into the store. That's personally just something I do not like. But yeah, moving on to missions and systems. The weekly Fortnite challenge we already covered, so I'm not going to read that again. Rewards for completing the challenge include a banner, the Ice Queen, and snowflake tickets. The 14 Days of Fortnite event has ended, and all the quests are no longer available. And they added a new power level 128 zone in Fortnite for endgame players. This zone will be available to players who reach the end of Twine Peaks, and you will earn a new reward banner for completing all 30 in the 120 power level zone. They increased Fortnite XP, gold, and ticket rewards, especially at later waves, to better incentivize longer survival times. They replaced transform, key, and schematic rewards with perk up and re-perk in higher difficulty Fortnite zones. They changed which Storm Shield defense quests unlock the Fortnite zones, so players should see more appropriately leveled zones. The mission map has been adjusted, and missions will no longer locked behind old side quests. They are now unlocked by quests in their main campaign, and key story-specific missions can no longer have mission alerts on them. Moving on to bug fixes, they fixed an issue where anomalies, which would not allow players who joined in progress to collect the shards, fixed a deliver the bomb mission issue to allow players to build through upper part of the launcher. Players who join or rejoin late will now receive any benefits from activated blue glow pylons. Fixed an issue causing the Stabilize the Rift device to not shut off the correct visual laser impact FX when the laser is destroyed. Remove the difficulty pylon from the Protect the Server's landmark mission. Refuel the home base missions now have a chance to spawn elemental and mutant storm mission alerts. Fixed Play with Others custom option to work for players with high power ratings. As for UI, players see what items are eligible for reset by toggling the option from the bottom bar of the Manage Schematic and Manage Hero screens. They added a confirmation dialog after unslotting a collection book, telling the player that the item has been added to their inventory. And they added a HUD element showing the exit vehicle bound key while using the Rosie turret. Now there are a lot of bug fixes, so I'm not going to cover them all. As for performance, the rocket launcher and grenade launcher visual effects were updated to be more performant. Husk death effects were updated to be more performant and fixed issues where the effects were not properly playing, and they improved the appearance of fog on the Xbox One. As for heroes, the Ice King is in the unit as well as the Ice Queen, we already said that. Any hero that had damage resistant perks converted to armor perks in the 7.10 update is eligible for an item reset. If you choose to reset a hero This will return the hero to level 1, and all XP and evolution materials invested into the hero will not be refunded. Now they put this in red. Note that this reset option will be fortified. Will be forfeited if any new resources are invested into the hero or if the hero is slotted into the collection book. I just want to make sure you guys know that. As for the bug fix for that, the Outlander Llama Fragment ability will again fall to its knees when it has been destroyed. Moving on to weapons and items. Eligible items can be reset back to level 1 from the inspect screen via the item reset feature. This means heroes and schematics that have been updated. Players can get a full refund of all XP, evolution materials, and perks invested when recycling, retiring, or transforming an item that undergoes a significant balance or design change. Increased re-perk rewards from the following sources. Missions have a plus 67, perk caches have a plus 67, and mission alerts have a plus 55%. They reduced re-perk costs for changing non-elemental perks by 40%. Front-end crafting will now remove items from the lowest quantity stack first, enabling resets for the 6 feet under shovel, as well as any weapon that had damage-resistant perks converted to armor perks. Bug fixes for this issues. They fix an issue where the Stalwart Squire has static default perk rolls. The Candy Corn LMG now has force feedback when firing. They fix an issue where melee weapons would sometimes not cause damage for the first few attacks after equipping. And they fix an issue where melee weapons could fall to do any damage when switching them and using their heavy attack. As for gameplay, separate targeting scope and gamepad building sensitivity changes are now shared between Save the World and Battle Royale. As for enemies, they removed holiday skins from Husks, Slobbers, Sploders, and Husklings. Art and animation, Ray and Lars packed up the holiday decorations from the environment and home base. As for audio, they added soccer ball sounds in Fortnite, added a pickup sound to the shielder data item, updated the grenade explosion sounds, and added mountain dismount sounds to the hoverboard. And then some general, the rest of these are just general settings. So, sensitivity settings allow for more granular adjustments. As for social, you can now block players directly from their party invite. And for performance, memory optimized for mobile and Battle Royale and Creative to reduce out-of-memory crashes. Performance improvements made for vehicles and some cosmetic items. Improved disk read times on the Xbox and Android in Battle Royale and Creative to reduce the occurrence of late HLODs. And improved performance on Vulkan-capable Android devices in Battle Royale and Creative. Guys, that is all the patch notes for Creative, Save the World, and Battle Royale. There's a lot. If you want to go ahead and see the notes for yourselves and you can read them without having to listen to my voice, all you have to do is go on their Twitter accounts and it'll say, you'll see that you can click on the patch notes. It's pretty cool. Or you can just go on their website, epicgames.com. But yeah, this is a huge update. I am very pleased with what they've done to a lot of things. There are some things that I didn't really care for, such as the sniper trajectory. Out of all the snipers, the heavy was the one that I always had a little bit of trouble mastering the trajectory for. But I'm okay with it. It'll give me something to get used to, which is pretty cool. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think of these patch notes down in the comments section. Sorry for the gameplay. I had to reuse some gameplay from last week's video, as well as some new boring gameplay. But thank you so much for watching if you did, and if you're hearing this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like down below as well. And let's see if we can hit 60 by May. That would be so cool if we can hit 60 by May. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. This has been Bullet. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.